Hello, everyone. Since this is Christmas Eve, I decided that I'm not going to be doing a something bad video. I'm going to be talking about something good. And in this case, it's basically to wish everybody that is out there watching a Merry Christmas. And what I think is great about this time of year, in particular Christmas, is as we kind of reflect back onto like all of the conflicts, all of the, you know, negative energy that's around in the world, it's sort of nice to have Christmas around to kind of remind us that, no matter what's out there and what's uh, the problem that is sort of a part of the world, it gives us time to just sort of shut all of that off and just kind of have a sense of peace and sort of drain all of the noise that goes on. And I think it's important to kind of have those uh, times because again there's always things that um, obviously throughout the year that people like to uh, kind of argue about, bicker about, cause drama about, or complain about, or and I think Christmas is an important reminder to everybody that it doesn't matter what differences we have of opinion on whatever it may be that is there. The important thing is that we kind of shut all of that off and just kind of come together and just have a certain amount level of um, kind of inner peace, I think. And it almost seems to be kind of, I think, downplayed, at least a lot of the time. When you look now, a lot of things now that drive a lot of people's attention are these kinds of conflicts where people bickering or complaining or saying that they have all of the right answers and, all of that, or constant critiquing, which again is one thing that I enjoy to do. I mean, I like critiquing things, I like looking at things, and I like looking at things from different angles and kind of coming up with my own interpretations on things. But um, I try to keep it as open as a platform as I can. But there is, again, I think, a tendency, whether it be on the internet or whether it be in the real world, which again, you could argue whether or not the internet is the real world. But there is, I think, a part of this time of year where we kind of, I think, forget its meaning because we're just so focused on the trends, the noise, the craziness that's going on, the differences that we have, um, and instead of focusing on the things that are all kind of, I think, common within human beings and within our abilities to do good and whatnot. I think that unfortunately sometimes gets ignored sometimes, and it's unfortunate because I think the more we kind of hone in on things that are more common to us, and the more we try to foster, I think, cooperation, the better off I think everybody is. So that's why I think it. I think the purpose of saying Merry Christmas and why it's a good uh, thing is that it's sort of spreading, it's spreading the love, it's spreading the joy and the excitement. And even now it seems like people who don't even celebrate Christmas don't really even care. They're kind of so into Christmas because I think there's just something about Christmas, in particular the holiday, that is just so likable. Like, I mean, I even if I did not grow up in a household that celebrated Christmas, I could still find some uh, huge enjoyment or satisfaction from having it around. So I think the important thing is we just kind of learn to realize that there's different things out there in the world, and the important thing is that we strive for what is good, and we strive for coming together. A perfect example of this is, I believe that there may have been some that have heard of this story, but it happened early in World War One, where the Germans were fighting the English, I believe, and at one point they made a truce. I believe it was supposed to be on Christmas, where they would basically come out and they would put all of their weapons down, and they would just go and they would talk to the other people that were from the from the enemy side. So the Germans would go and talk with the Brits, and I believe those were the two groups that were involved. I'm not sure if there was another group too of countrymen, but from what I remember, it was between German and British. Um, but basically, in coming together, they sort of, discover the commonality, and, even though they didn't really speak the same language, they were able still to foster that same kind of spirit that they had for the holidays. And it just goes to show that, there are things that I think a lot of people don't want to argue over and don't want to fight over. Um, and sometimes I think sometimes there are those being put into sort of positions, that are sort of designed that way. And when you look at those kinds of stories where, you see, the ultimate, um, the ultimate kind of battle that's supposed to be taking place within these two groups, but then they decide to drop everything, um, because not only of Christmas, but they understand the values and the heart that is behind the holiday more so, I think, and in realizing that, life and, uh, trying to share it without trying to hinder conflicts constantly is one that I think is very important to, I think, emphasize. And I think a lot of the times, unfortunately, people feel like they always have to put up a fight and argue over something, instead of, just accepting, um, maybe a certain difference of opinion and realizing not everybody thinks the same way. You know, I just think that, we would probably be better off, um, if we kind of, just sort of, listen to one another and just talk and kind of have a certain amount of civility. And I think, this, uh, translates well, in particular, to this story that did actually happen. Um, so that's just really my thoughts and what I think when it comes to, um, you know, uh, what Christmas means, and what it means to really be merry on Christmas. So I definitely do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope they have a good one if they celebrate it. And I hope that we can all take a little wisdom behind the ideas behind Christmas and sort of apply them into our sort of everyday lives. Because I think those things are very important and can provide, again, they can showcase ideas and can allow us to kind of understand one another. Um, but yeah, I think that's really ultimately all I can say. Thank you all so much for all of the support, and I hope you have a great holiday season and a Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.